$19,900. That is the asking price for a house in Northern Ontario right now. Not a parking spot, not a storage locker, a house. 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, on a lot with a street address in a town that still has a post office. Today, we are looking at 5 properties across Northern Ontario, all listed under $75,000. Every listing is real. Every MLS number is verified. And one of these 5 properties is a money pit. It looks like a deal. The price seems right. But if you buy it without understanding what you're actually getting, it will cost you more than you paid for it. By the end of this video, you will know exactly which one it is. Let us get into it. Number 5, 660 Euclid Avenue, Holtyre, Ontario, $19,900. Holtyre is a small community in the township of Black River, Matheson, about 45 kilometers east of Timmins. It exists because of gold. The area saw its first gold rush in the early 1900s, and for decades the mines around Matheson and Holtyre kept people employed, kept families rooted, and kept the lights on. Today, Holtyre is quiet, very quiet. The kind of quiet where your nearest neighbor might be 100 meters away and the nearest traffic light is in Timmins. For $19,900, you get a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom detached bungalow, 625 square feet. The listing is blunt. This is a fixer, sold as is. And here is the detail that matters most. The utilities are currently disconnected. Let that register. No power, no water service. This is Northern Ontario, where winter starts in October and does not leave until May. Reconnecting hydro and water in a rural Ontario township can run anywhere from $2,000 to $10,000, depending on the condition of the existing lines and what the municipality requires. Add in whatever deferred maintenance is hiding behind the walls, and you are probably looking at $30,000 to $40,000 all in before this house is livable. But here's the thing. At $19,900, you are essentially buying the lot with a structure on it. If the bones are sound, this is a renovation project with a total cost that is still less than a down payment on a condo in Toronto. If the bones are not sound, you are buying land in gold country for less than a used snowmobile. MLS number T12876448, listed by Royal LePage Northern Realty Leaders. The listing is live on realtor.ca right now. Number 4, 77 Upper Helen Street in Cobalt, Ontario, $35,000. Cobalt is not just a town name, it is the element. This town is the reason you know the word. In 1903, railway workers building the Temiskaming and Northern Ontario Railway discovered one of the richest silver deposits on Earth right here. Within 5 years, Cobalt had gone from nothing to a boomtown of 10,000 people. At its peak, the mines around Cobalt produced over 30 million ounces of silver. The town was so significant that it helped finance Canada's involvement in World War I. Then, the silver ran out. The population collapsed. Today, Cobalt has roughly 1,100 people. But here is what makes this listing different from every other cheap Northern Ontario house. Electra Battery Materials is building North America's first battery-grade cobalt sulfate refinery just outside of town. This is not a rumor. This is a funded and permitted facility, currently under construction, tied directly to the electric vehicle supply chain. If that refinery reaches full production, Cobalt, the town, gets a second life powered by Cobalt, the element. You cannot make that up. 77 Upper Helen Street is a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom house sold as is. The listing is sparse. The photos suggest dated interiors and deferred maintenance. At $35,000, you are buying into a town with an actual economic catalyst that most cheap Northern Ontario towns simply do not have. The nearest hospital is in Temiskaming Shores, about 30 minutes south. Kirkland Lake is roughly an hour northwest. The Trans-Canada Highway is not close, but Highway 11 is accessible, and North Bay is about 2.5 hours south. Property tax details are not listed, but comparable Cobalt properties run in the $800 to $1,200 per year range. MLS number T 12978932, listed by R.E. Max Hallmark Realty. Live on realtor.ca. This is the contrarian pick on this list. Most of these towns are shrinking. Cobalt might not be. Number 3, 152 First Street, Nipigon, Ontario. $35,000. Same price as Cobalt, completely different situation. This is the one you need to pay attention to. Nipigon is a township of about 1,400 people on the north shore of Lake Superior, roughly 100 kilometers northeast of Thunder Bay. It sits on the Trans-Canada Highway. It has its own hospital, the Nipigon District Memorial Hospital, open 24/7 with emergency services. It has a grocery store, restaurants, gas stations, and high-speed internet. By Northern Ontario standards, this is a well-connected community. Nipigon also has history. First Nations peoples have lived here for thousands of years. The world record brook trout, 14.5 pounds, was caught in the Nipigon River in 1915. That record stood for over a century. The landscape is dramatic. Lake Superior to the south, boreal forest in every direction, cliffs being developed into climbing destinations. So far, this sounds like the best deal on the list. 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, a large lot backing onto a ravine. $35,000. What is the catch? Here is the catch. The listing states it plainly. Collapsed foundation on the north side. Read that again. Collapsed foundation. This is not a cosmetic issue. This is not a weekend project. A collapsed foundation in northern Ontario, where frost heave is relentless and the freeze-thaw cycle can move a house off its footings in a single winter, is a structural failure that requires professional remediation. What does that cost? A full foundation replacement on a house this size in northern Ontario, where contractors are scarce and travel charges are real, can run $30,000 to $50,000, possibly more depending on what they find once they start digging. So the math: $35,000 for the house, $30,000 to $50,000 for the foundation. You are now $65,000 to $85,000 into a property in a town where comparable move-in ready homes sell for under $100,000. You may have paid more to fix the house than the house will be worth when you are done. That is the definition of a money pit. Now, the listing does mention something interesting. The lot next door at 152 First Street is also available for $75,000 and is described as move-in ready. The agent suggests combining the two properties for a deep double lot. That is a legitimate play if you plan to tear down 152 and keep the land. But buying this house to live in it? The foundation alone makes this the most expensive cheap house on the list. MLS number TB252912. Listed by Century 21 Superior Realty, Wendy Ferris. Live on realtor.ca. If you guessed this was the money pit, you were right. Number 2. Tiny home on a half-acre near Iroquois Falls, Ontario. $60,000. This one is not on MLS. It is a private listing on Kijiji. At first glance, it looks like the dream. A fully turnkey, off-grid tiny home on a half-acre of treed land just off Highway 11. 240 square feet plus a loft. Solar panels, a wood stove, a propane backup generator. A front porch looking out at nothing but boreal forest. 15 to 18 minutes to Iroquois Falls. 20 to 25 minutes to Cochrane. About an hour to Timmins. World-class at TV and snowmobile trails start at your door. The listing mentions OFSC trail access for winter riding and crown land hunting in every direction. For the outdoor enthusiast, this is a base camp with a roof and a wood stove. But here's the detail that changes everything. You do not own the land. This property sits on a 100-year lease at $150 per year. That means the land belongs to someone else. You own the structure. You lease the ground it sits on for 100 years, which sounds like a long time until you try to get a mortgage on it, and every bank in Canada says no. Leased land properties are effectively unmortgageable. You are buying with cash or not at all. Resale is limited to other cash buyers who understand leasehold. And if the terms of the lease change, or the leaseholder decides not to renew in 90 years, your grandchildren inherit a structure with no ground to stand on. $60,000 for 240 square feet that you do not own the dirt under. That is not a money pit in the traditional sense, but it is a financial trap for anyone who does not read the fine print. If you want an off-grid hunting cabin and you understand exactly what leasehold means, this could work. If you think you are buying a house, you are not. Number 1. 28 Warbler Drive, Manitouwadge, Ontario. $75,000. We end at the top of the budget, and ironically, this might be the best value on the entire list. Manitouwadge was built in the 1950s as a planned mining town. Gecko and Willecho mines extracted copper and zinc from the Canadian Shield, and the town was designed from scratch to house the workers. Streets were laid out in loops. Houses were built to a standard. Services were planned before the first family arrived. It was Northern Ontario's version of a company town done right. The mines closed in the 1990s. The population, which peaked at around 4,000, has dropped to roughly 1,700. But unlike many Northern Ontario mining towns, Manitouwadge kept its infrastructure. There is a medical clinic, there is a school, there is a grocery store, and a gas station. The town is about 100 kilometers off Highway 17, which means it is genuinely remote, but the road is paved and maintained year-round. For $75,000, 28 Warbler Drive gives you a one-bedroom, one-bathroom bungalow that is described as move-in ready. There is a single-car garage, a fully fenced yard, a patio deck, and hill views over green space. Main floor laundry. Unfinished basement with expansion potential. The structure appears well-maintained in the listing photos. Property tax is not listed, but Manitouwadge residential taxes typically run in the $1,500 to $2,000 per year. Heating is not specified in the listing, but most Manitouwadge homes run on oil or propane forced air. The nearest hospital is the Wilson Memorial General Hospital in Marathon, about 90 minutes south. That is a long drive in an emergency, and it is worth being honest about that. Thunder Bay is roughly 350 kilometers by road. MLS number TB2600668. Listed by Century 21 Superior Realty, Simone Donaldson. Live on realtor.ca. This house is the most expensive property on this list, and the only one where you could move in tomorrow without spending another dollar. No disconnected utilities, no collapsed foundation, no leased land, no as-is disclaimers. Just a house on land you own in a town that still functions. 5 properties, 5 towns. Prices from $19,900 to $75,000. The cheapest property has Nipigon. One with real economic upside is a bet on a battery refinery that is not opened yet. The property listed at $35,000 in Nipigon will cost you more to fix than it is worth. The off-grid tiny home is beautiful until you realize you're paying $60,000 for something on borrowed ground. And the most expensive property on the list is the only one that is actually ready to live in. Northern Ontario is not for everyone. Winters are long, hospitals are far, job markets are thin. But for the right person, $75,000 buys a life that most of Canada has priced out of reach. Every listing in this video is real and active as of today. MLS numbers are on screen and in the description. Do your own due diligence. Get inspections. Talk to local agents. Do not buy a house just because someone on the internet told you it was cheap. Which property would you actually buy? Did you spot the money pit before I revealed it? Drop your answer in the comments. If you want more videos like this with real listings, real prices, and no fluff, subscribe and hit the bell. We do this every week, and the listings change fast.